Good evening. Welcome to Edessa Season 2. It is a lovely fall evening. Cold, cold, cold. At least as cold as Edessa gets, which isn't very. Um, Comparatively. Hewat and Irene have agreed to have an interesting evening together. Well, hopefully not too interesting, but Hewat is making a social call. She shows up to the designated large house where Ulrich used to make his haven, um, escorted by several guards in a carriage that is unmarked but clean and rather lovely, and steps out cloaked for the weather, hopefully to be greeted by whoever Irene has at the door.
Yeah, there is actually a middle-aged woman who opens the door,
Mm-hmm.
um, dressed in rather simple but like made of good fabric clothes,
Mm-hmm.
with a friendly, warm smile. Who will invite you in and greet you properly and goes through the motions of taking your cloak and offering water to wash off the dust of the journey, despite the fact that you didn't really have to go that far.
Hewat is gracious and friendly and rinses her hands and feet and lets her cloak be taken. Smiles. She has
And
smiles for the helper, and you know.
she'll point the guardsman to the kitchen, where she will promise that there will be ale and food,
Mm-hmm.
and will guide you to the study. With a knock on the door, waiting for Irene's voice from the other side of the door saying, "Please come in." The woman will enter the uh, room and will announce your presence. Irene will be standing beside the desk.
Hewat smiles and offers her a graceful curtsy.
Irene will, of course, reply the curtsy. Is that how you say it? Well, she'll curtsy as well in a reply.
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
fine.
My English is shit tonight, so I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
And Irene will offer you a seat. There's a small sitting area, like near the window.
She settles on it and smiles. A pleasure to see you again. Good evening, my lady.
The pleasure is all mine. I hope you had no trouble finding this place. Have you ever been to the Noble's Quarter?
Oh, yes, but not here before. But your instructions were clear as day.
Well, that's good to hear. I hope the night has been treating you well.
Very well. I'm enjoying this weather so far.
Good to hear. If you like, I can have some refreshments brought upstairs, but I
Oh,
wasn't
no.
quite sure.
No,
Of
no need.
course.
Thank you, though. And you? How do you like the turning of the seasons?
Well, out of character, what's the weather like in Edessa right now? I have no clue.
Give me a second. I don't know what it is in. I only know in freedom degrees. Um, so this is the cold, cooler, wet season. Um, let's see, where is it in Celsius? So it's between like the average daily maximum is 12 degrees
Mm,
and the average daily minimum is 4 degrees.
okay.
So it's quite chilly, but it's not into the like awful. But
So,
it's almost cold enough to snow.
mhm. I mean, we'll take some time to think about it. Ah, I used to live by the sea, Mediterranean Sea. It's a little cooler here, but when the rain hits the city, it's almost as if I can smell the sea again. So I enjoy it
Um,
very much.
Absolutely. Do you miss it? See,
Sometimes, yes. I hope at some point in my life I would be able to traverse the seas, find out what's on the other side. I've heard exciting stories about the African lands, and I would like to visit them one day.
I've already offered someone else in Edessa. I don't remember who, but if ever you are traveling south, I have friends. I would be happy to see that you were given a safe place to rest and a guide, someone who could see to your safety and comfort in the manner to which you're accustomed.
I would enjoy that very much. Thank you. I will definitely take you up on your offer. For now, however, I think Edessa is the place where I'm at home, and I would like to stay here for, well, a long time.
I'm glad. It's good to have like minded company. Our life can be so lonely in the dark,
Indeed.
but it
But
need not be that way.
exactly, with the right friends and people surrounding you, I have not felt lonely for quite some time. Irene will
Truly.
actually have a smile on her face.
Now that is a rare statement to be able to make.
Mm,
You must be well blessed.
I'm very blessed. Every night I wake up and I know that I am extremely privileged in my position, and I am grateful and happy for it each and every night.
That too is a rare claim to be able to make. Not many make a point of acknowledging their gratitude or their debts.
Well, my nights have been unusual, I guess.
They have. From everything I've heard, you're an unusual creature.
Ah,
There are worse things to be. In fact, I think perhaps there are few better things to be among our kind.
mm, I'm not quite sure. Standing out can be both good and bad in our society. Standing out at a young age can be rather troublesome, and I often wish to live a more simpler life. I will make a subterfuge roll at that. Because that does not at all fit her nature. But it's very much how she likes to come across.
Uh-huh. It's fair.
Let me see. Manipulation, subterfuge.
Oh boy.
Why? Oh boy, I will never be able to make that.
It's only 4 if that helps. The 10 doesn't explode.
I mean, still.
Queen's tea is so good.
Wow, that's
Oh no.
terrible. That's really terrible. Only one. I think this is actually the first time that I'm failing a nips up on this, so
I
I'm
think
extremely
so, yeah.
sad. But yeah, as Irene says that she would prefer to have the God damn it. God damn it. So as Irene says that she would like to have a more simpler life. There's a certain shine in her eyes as she says it, even though she's looking downwards and has her hands folded in her lap and looking the epitome of humility and all that. There's a certain twinkle in her eyes and the smile on her face that sort of reveals that
Hmm.
she actually kind of likes being the center of attention.
Yuat has much better manners than to point out that she's been lied to. She just kind of smiles to herself, and since Irene's not looking anyway, she can
Hmm.
smile without anybody seeing. She kind of smiles to herself and says, "Of course, of course. Don't we all wish to live in peace and quiet?"
Indeed.
And yet, I think that is not the way of your clan or mine. So, we shall have to struggle against our better nature.
Yes, our clans and our city demands things of us.
Very much so. And we are young enough yet that we must be dutiful to the demands of our clans.
Well, um, it's good when those demands fall in line with our capabilities, our nature, perhaps even. And on that regard, I was curious because you've mentioned this night and before that I appear to have quite a reputation, but I can't help but notice that you seem to be in extremely good standing with a lot of people, mostly due to your courts.
She nods and smiles as though that's a compliment.
It was meant as one, so that's good. And it made me wonder. We are both, I think, individuals that would like to see our city flourish and would like to see our kind flourish with it.
Very much so. As I said, I think we have a great deal in common.
I agree. And I was wondering if you had ever considered a position as a harpy in the city.
Harpy. She is going to roll her manip sub as she considers that question. Um,
I really need more peony.
wow, no, you're not gonna. I apparently didn't feel that this character needed any subterfuge. That's fine.
Oh gods, I know that feeling. Don't worry. I made a character that was a compulsive liar once, and then I forgot to put dots in subterfuge. I felt like such a loser when I found out in like my second scene. It's like, why?
I have a compulsion failing.
Well, you still beat me. I got two successes as well.
So you see, for you can't quite tell what it is, but for a second, you see like a twitch of facial muscles before her face just kind of smooths back into a pleasant, placid expression, as though she's contemplating this without any real feeling behind it. Perhaps.
They always say that, or at least so I've heard, that a harpy isn't necessarily appointed, but makes themselves a harpy. You
She
and
looks and
hosting
smiles.
your courts, it sounds very much like you are on the way.
Perhaps. I think I think that you and I have much in common in the ways that our age has held us back. There are some positions one should not lay claim to, lest we be seen as reaching above our station.
I agree. Don't get me wrong, I totally agree. Completely. However, I carry with me a message coming from Lady Katerina of my clan. I'm sure you've heard of her.
Of course.
She is looking for people like you and I to become harpies, to work for her.
To work for her as harpies.
Indeed. Doesn't don't all harpies have a leader?
But of course, don't all of us have a leader?
Don't we all?
It is written into the strictures of Cain that we must follow our leader.
And as creatures like us who are so young, I think following someone who has been so well versed in the arts of politics in our society, it might be worth something.
I'm sure it is worth a great deal. And I say that without sarcasm. I am well aware that the Lady Katerine has a great deal to offer.
Well, she wanted me to let you know that her eyes are looking at you.
I am flattered, and I shall try not to preen.
Of course, I'm in no position to promise anything on her behalf, but, well, like I said, her interest is most certainly there.
She nods and smiles. Kind of, it's her turn to work on a demure expression.
I'm gonna be any of that, because why the fuck not?
Where's my window?
Yay! First time I have three successes. I don't suck altogether.
Not at all. Um, Yeah, you don't. She's not particularly trying to hide it, and I think Irene has made this face so many times that, like, she feels it in her own cheekbones when she sees it on somebody else. It's the expression of somebody who is doing very fast calculations in her head, but is used to them in a court setting. And
I think you give Irene way too much credit. But
no, no, I know she's done them, but instead of looking shrewd and calculating, she's making she's keeping her face friendly and innocent. And Irene kind of, she recognizes the look and the
Irene basically giving the same, innocent and
yes,
friendly
exactly.
expression. So they're kind of looking at each other with that same expression on their faces.
Exactly. Oh, how nice. We're talking about such nice things, not
Yay!
not like vampire society where we kill each other and turn one another's minds to goo.
Right?
It shall be interesting to see how the coming nights unfold. I hope that her gaze on me stays welcoming, approving.
I suppose it would, if you would support her as well.
As master of the harpies.
Well, she would prefer the term mistress, as she's made obvious.
He just kind of laughs and makes a gesture like, yes, that.
I mean, giggle sort of, because yeah.
Either the, yeah. I mean no snub to her by the word.
Mm,
It
I
is the
know.
position that interests me, not the sex of the person holding it.
I fully agree with you, but well, I understand Lady Catherine's feelings in that matter as well.
Oh?
Well, master mistress, it doesn't matter what, but it depends on the person holding the title, does it not?
It does.
And I think if any of us can be called a lady, it is her, not you nor me. We act like ladies. We might even be them. But if I would need to look at the essence of what a lady is, I would look in her direction.
She is lovely. And I understand she has been lovely for a very long time, which is
I've,
difficult.
I agree. I've not seen anyone with such poise and grace within our city. Well, save of course for some of the Toreador, but for you it runs in your blood, I feel.
Is poison grace what being a lady means to you?
No, not just that. There's much more. And there's even some parts that I can see but still cannot name. That would make a lady a lady.
Well spoken, with grace and humility.
It would be interesting to have a ladylike group of harpies.
It would indeed. It would bring a certain air to the court. Harpies are known to be fragile, and our court is decidedly, at this point, not that.
Hmm. I hope so. I think with all the positions that are still open, we're more fragile than we may appear. Our court is still balancing on the edge of chaos without a keeper. Harpies. The military part of the court, sheriff, scourge, hounds, they're all represented. But yes, I think you are right. The court does lack a certain femininity.
Delicacy, perhaps.
Exactly.
Where do you stand on the issue of the Tremere?
Hmm. That is a sudden change of subject.
She smiles.
May I ask why you are so interested?
She's watching Irene with curiosity. It is one of the pressing issues of our time, particularly here where treaty is so recently broken. It is suddenly. Ooh, nice. That is
Wow.
a nice roll. Nothing to see here.
Damn
Um,
it.
she says it is suddenly so relevant. I know that there are demons in the night, and I do wish to help to remove that influence from our city. But once the demons have gone, I look ahead to what remains. And I'm curious what faces I shall be watching.
I understand your point. I am torn by the issue of the Tremere. As you said, they seem to be offering assistance and help, and we have made good use of their knowledge on demons, on occult questions. But I dislike very much so the issue between the Salubri and the Tremere, and I am sympathetic for those who lost their homes, their lives, who had been forced to flee from the city, from this area. So I am torn in two.
You mean you mourn the loss of the Salubri in Edessa?
Yes. They also have helped on many occasions. And to see that getting rewarded with this fight feels wrong to me.
I'm afraid I don't know the details of their departure, only that there are none that I have seen.
I am not fully aware of the details myself, but I've heard that it had to do with their, well, grievances with the Tremere.
I
But as
see.
said, I am not aware of many of the details.
Perhaps it offers an interesting opportunity to make friends among those whom you know to be. She's gonna roll my lips up while she does this. Probably botch it. Well, not a botch, but a failure. Um. Oh man.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. No, really. Irene for Harpy, 2017. Still not working.
Right. Um. Among so both of them are totally absorbed in their own thoughts and not doing a very good job at what they should be good at. Um. Among those who you know to be good and moral and helpful, to make friends and repopulate with,
Yes.
well, let us say with those you know to be good and kind and moral, since even among a clan there is great variety.
That is most definitely true. And I hope if, well, whatever my role in society may be, I hope it will be one that will bring people together and that will make us grow bigger and let the city shine brighter than it did before. If I can help with that, then I will be satisfied each night for as long as I were to remain in Edessa.
And the Lady Katerina, that also her wish to bring people together? Or do you know?
Who of us knows what truly goes on in the mind of our elders? But she doesn't seem to be out for certain people or certain groups, clans.
Hmm. I appreciate a careful answer, and your honesty thereby. Very much so.
I've not seen her act in any vengeful way ever before, even though my life as a Canaanite and my stay in the city are about equally long, which is not very long.
All of us have our vengeances. I think it is as much in our blood as our hunger.
Perhaps you are right, but knowing means that you can change yourself, or attempt to at least.
She's gonna rise and go to offer Irene her hands.
Yeah, Irene will rise as well.
Her hands are cold but gentle. She doesn't have blush of health, and she definitely, yeah, as far as vampires go, she has none of the humanity that makes Irene so warm and comfortable around humans. Her beauty is cold and perfect. Um, her hands are soft but cold, and she gives Irene's hands a squeeze and says, "Knowing means that you can change, and I can change. We are still young and changeable, but never suspect your elders of such things."
Mm.
If she sent you to me to take her message, hoping that we should become sisters under her tutelage, I am more than happy to accept that sisterhood.
I am very happy to hear that. It would fill my nights with more joy than I had ever hoped to find.
Your nights are very full already, I think,
They are indeed.
but we have a greater capacity than mortals imagine.
Quite so.
I imagine you can make little room.
There's always room for more happiness, especially in the world as it is now. It is a spark that drives us. Hope, happiness, and, well, happy ever after.
It can be, yes.
I mean, we'll just, kind of, uh, kind of twine her hands together in front of her, belly. Just,
Mhm.
she'll look down, smiles.
Thank you very much for the offer. For, I suppose it is not quite an offer yet, but the notice that I'm being considered is valuable in its own right. I shall be careful of my step.
Well, who knows, there are many more offers for you, but I would like to see you, well, act on this offer. As you said, it is important to have like-minded friends, and I think we are indeed more similar than maybe others are, different clans.
She smiles and says, Clan Toreador is rich in its friends in Edessa, and I hope that Clan the Sombra will be among them.
As far as I cannot speak of Clan La Sombra, I can assure you that I have a warm heart, not hearth. God damn it. Towards Clan Toreador.
She smiles and says, "My lady, I think you have a warm heart. In general, your hands are certainly warm."
Well, I can only hope for it to remain so.
As should we all.
I thank you for your time, Hewat.
The pleasure is all mine. I very much enjoy speaking to you. And I look forward to working with you in the future.
As do I.
I'm sorry we cannot be coterie mates.
Me too. But that is what it is.
And it is important to have other alliances. Alliances of the heart. Alliances that are not named are the surprises that save lives. I hope neither of us shall ever need them, but. And she kind of reaches out to touch Irene's shoulders, just gently with two fingertips, and doesn't finish the sentence.
I share your sentiments. May you never need the friendships to, well, help you out when situations are dire. May you always be able to sail a calm sea.
And you as well.
Mm. Irene will just, kind of wrinkle a bell. My, well, servant will bring you to your guards.
Lovely. Thank you kindly for all your hospitality. And have a good evening.
And thank you for accepting my invitation. And I hope we will speak again soon.
She smiles and offers her another curtsy. This one, it's a little warmer. And then she turns and lets herself be escorted.
Yep. And Irene will curtsy in return. And, well, go sit behind the desk. And I think with that we can end the scene.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Well, Steve for staying, watchers for watching, and we'll see you again in Edessa the Dark Crusade.